Okay, we've got One Stop Performance's new Procross Turbo Clutch Alignment Tool, and we're going to show you how to set it up and how we use it. So to start, this is how it kind of comes in the kit. You've got your back piece that slips over your jack shaft. You got your 3 tangs that touch on your 3 points of your clutch, which those are going to go here, bolted on. And then you also have shims to adjust for your parallelism of your clutch to your jack shaft. So we'll go ahead and start putting it together and show you how it goes. Okay, so we first start, we put the end piece on, just threads right into the back, right hand threads, and we'll just go ahead and tighten it down hand tight. Next, install all the 5/16 screws into the toucher pieces, and these are going to go with the screw into the inset like that, sticking through, and then those are going to go into the 3 threaded holes. Okay, after putting in the back and the top one, and where we're facing the tool is the back side of the tool is where all of the parts go on. Now the last front hole is where we're going to use the shims. On our higher horsepower sleds, higher horsepower trail sleds and race sleds, we typically like to run 40 thousandths of shim under the front leg to make our parallelism just a little bit off. So that way when the engine's pulling on the big end, it pulls the engine into proper alignment. We'll go ahead and put those 2 shims on the front, and you can see they go in between the body and the flat part. And go ahead and tighten the screw down, 1/4 inch Allen socket. And we're ready to use our tool. Okay, now we come over to our sled, and we have simply removed the belt guard, the back gas tank plastic, side panel, hood, just so you can see it a little better. You probably don't really have to remove your hood if you don't want to. I just took it off so we could see a little better. And now, as you can see, we have our jack shaft in with our converter out and our primary clutch in and tight. And now all we're going to do is basically slip our tool over our jack shaft and our clutch, and you see we got to be below the plastic and fits right in. And now when we're using this tool, we're going to push to where the tool is firm squarely against the back bearing with no shims. You want to remove all your shims that were behind your secondary clutch. You want to make sure you're pushing directly against the bearing. And now, as you can see on this particular sled, our center to center is a little long because that's how most sleds are when they're coming from CAT. So we're going to show you how to fix that. So as you can see, when I go to slide my tool down, if my center to center was absolutely correct, it would fit right onto the perfect of the round of the clutch. See, so as you can see, ours is a little slightly bit off. So we're going to show you how to do that here. So now that we've determined our center to center is a little too long, we're going to go ahead and remove our top motor mount bolt right here. And the motor's going to move a little. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and check and try to get our center to center. Okay, now with our top motor mount bolt here being loose, and we also just, that one we took right out. This one down here we just loosened. We also have our OSP engine bumper stop kit installed, and we also have the OSP heavy duty poly mounts in this particular engine. So now you can see with all of our bolts loose, our engine can move, and you can see how the TLC can move in the pivot. So now what we're going to do is we're going to set our tool into our clutch and make our center to center be exactly perfect. Alright, so now with our tool pushed down onto our clutch and our center accurate, now we can see that we have no gap in the back, we have no gap on the top, and we have no gap in the front. So, and the tits are only going to touch right on the very bottom edge of the clutch. So it kind of takes a close eye to see where you're at. But now we can see our engine is in perfect alignment, and we have 40 thousand shim in the front to adjust our parallelism, so that way when the clutches are pulling together, the engine is actually getting pulled into a perfect alignment. So now you can see what it took to get that perfect alignment, because when we first started with our bolts tight, you could see we couldn't fit it in there. So now you can see how far off our bolt hole is on our motor. So if you look in there, I don't know if you can see, but we are easily an 1/8 inch off of our bolt hole. So you can see a little better shot there. So what we have done is we've made eccentric pieces that fit into this hole, that we can drill out this hole to make it a bigger OD, and then we can twist our eccentric inside of the hole to line our hole back up. And then once we get our hole lined back up, we tighten it down and our motor stays in perfect alignment. So now we have our eccentric piece that we have, and we have two different styles of these. We have a severe and a minor. So this is our severe one here. You can see for if you're way out of alignment. Usually when you're using stock motor mounts, you're going to be even further out of alignment because they sag more than the poly mounts are going to. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this top hole, we're going to very carefully drill it out 5/8 exactly in the center, and then we're going to place our eccentric, which is also 5/8 on the outside, into our hole and align it perfectly so that our holes line up. We're going to tighten our bolts down, tighten our engine mounts, and then check our alignment again. Okay, now that we know we're happy with our center to center, with our motor loose, what we went ahead and did is machined out our hole to accept the 5/8 spacer, and now we have our eccentric here set up. So what we're basically going to do, see, is we can offset our bolt hole into making our engine alignment be on. So what we did first is we put our washer up, we drilled this 5/8 hole out, so then our eccentric can move around inside the hole. So now with our eccentric in, you can see we can twist it however we want, get it lined up, and then we put our washer over top. Ooh. Into there, and then this is going to go on top of there. So now we have our offset bolt hole. Perfect. So now what we're going to do is go ahead, put our stock bolt back in, go ahead and tighten it all up. And right now it's still two. We have the bottom motor bolt right here loose, so that our engine is able to be in alignment of where we want it to be. Alright, now we have both of our bolts tightened, so you can see how much we moved the bolt hole to get the engine into alignment. And now we have this bottom bolt tight, our engine bumper snug, and our engine is in perfect alignment. All three tangs are touching the clutch sheath, and the center hook is on the center. So now we have everything tightened. It's time to pull. We can go ahead and pull this out. Pull it out, put it back on, and let's check that our motor stayed in the same spot, which, oh yeah, we look very good. So as you can tell, we're back down, everything's tight, and our motor stayed right in perfect alignment. So, and now on this particular sled, we only needed to do this hole here, but if you have a sled that has a severe parallelism issue, you know, this could be done on this side and the opposite side too, to move the motor more if needed.